Picture this. You wake up to an unnerving silence. Not the gentle quiet of an early morning, but a deep, absolute stillness. The familiar hum of the refrigerator is gone. Your phone is a dead black rectangle. A flick of the light switch does nothing. You step outside, and the entire world seems frozen in time. No traffic, no distant sirens, no electricity. This isn't a simple power outage. This is the aftermath of an electromagnetic pulse. Or it could be a solar flare or a man-made event. But the result is the same. Every unprotected electronic device is instantly and permanently fried. The complex systems that run our world, communications, transportation, power grids, have vanished in a flash. In a world plunged back into the dark ages, the prepared will have a massive advantage. While others are paralyzed by the sudden collapse of technology, you'll have a different story. Your survival won't depend on luck. It will depend on the simple, non-electric tools you gathered beforehand. In this video, we're revealing 10 cheap, common household items that will be your lifeline when everything else fails. These are the tools that will still work after an EMP blackout. Manual hand tools, your analog lifeline. In a world powered by electricity, the thought of relying on manual tools can feel almost primitive. Yet, in the aftermath of an EMP, these simple, non-electric implements transform from garage clutter into instruments of survival. An EMP event would instantly neutralize anything with a circuit board, rendering power tools useless. Suddenly, the ability to build, repair, and maintain your environment without electricity becomes a critical skill, and your collection of hand tools becomes your most valuable asset. The humble hammer, the versatile wrench, and the tireless handsaw are not just tools. They are the foundation of self-reliance in a world where modern conveniences have vanished. Consider the immediate aftermath. A pipe could burst, a window could shatter, or a door frame could break, compromising your shelter. Without access to plumbers, carpenters, or even online tutorials, you are the first and only line of defense. A basic set of wrenches can stop a leak that would otherwise flood your living space, preventing water damage and preserving a safe environment. A handsaw and hammer allow you to board up a broken window, securing your home from the elements and potential threat. These are not complex tasks, but they are impossible without the right equipment. The Department of Homeland Security's readiness campaigns consistently emphasize the importance of having a basic toolkit for disaster scenarios. Yet many households are ill-equipped, possessing little more than a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. This reliance on powered devices has created a significant skills gap, leaving a large portion of the population vulnerable. Beyond immediate repairs, manual tools are essential for long-term survival. The ability to process wood is a prime example. A quality handsaw or axe allows you to cut firewood for warmth and cooking, a fundamental need when central heating and electric stoves are offline. You can build or reinforce shelters, construct simple furniture, or even create barricades for security. A crowbar offers leverage to open stuck doors or access resources in damaged structures. A good set of screwdrivers can be used to disassemble items for spare parts, a form of scavenging that will become commonplace. In a grid-down world, the person who can fix a broken gate, sharpen a blade with a file, or build a functional rain barrel is more valuable than a CEO. These skills, powered by simple tools, represent a return to fundamental problem solving, a necessary adaptation when technology fails. Stockpiling these items now is a low-cost, high-reward investment. Look for quality, durable tools made of steel and wood, items built to last a lifetime, not just until the next battery-powered model is released. 2 devices in a Faraday cage, a shield against the pulse. The defining characteristic of an EMP is its ability to induce powerful, damaging currents in electronic circuits. This surge overloads and destroys the delicate microchips that form the brains of all modern devices. Your smartphone, laptop, radio, and even the electronic ignition in your car are all susceptible. However, this electronic devastation is not inevitable. A simple but effective scientific principle offers a shield, the Faraday cage, named after the scientist Michael Faraday, who discovered it in 1836. A Faraday cage is an enclosure made of a conductive material that blocks external electric fields. In the event of an EMP, the pulse washes over the cage, but the charge remains on the exterior surface, protecting everything inside. You don't need a high-tech, military-grade bunker to create this protection. The principle can be applied using common, inexpensive household items. A galvanized steel trash can with a tight-fitting lid is one of the most popular DIY options. The key is to ensure complete conductivity around the enclosure and to insulate the contents from the conductive shell. To prepare a trash can, you would first line the inside, bottom, and sides with a non-conductive material like cardboard or foam. This prevents your electronics from touching the metal wall. After placing your devices inside, you fill any remaining space with more insulating material to stop them from shifting. The final critical step is to seal the lid with conductive aluminum tape, ensuring there are no gaps where the electromagnetic energy could penetrate. This creates an unbroken conductive path around the contents, effectively neutralizing the EMP's effect. What should you store inside? Think about what would be most valuable in a world without a power grid or communication network. A set of two-way radios, walkie-talkies, would allow for short-range communication with family or neighbors. An emergency crank radio would provide access to any surviving government broadcast. A small, durable laptop loaded with survival guides, maps, and personal documents could be an invaluable information hub. You might also include a solar charger and rechargeable batteries, a digital multimeter for testing circuits, or a USB drive filled with essential data. The beauty of the Faraday cage is its scalability. Old metal ammo boxes, cookie tins, or even a non-working microwave oven can serve as smaller cages for pocket-sized electronics. For those seeking more robust protection, commercially made Faraday bags offer tested and certified shielding in a more portable format. Building or acquiring a Faraday cage is a proactive step that moves you from being a potential victim of an EMP to a prepared survivor with a critical technological advantage. 3. The bicycle, your grid-down transportation. In the silent, powerless world following an EMP, transportation will be one of the most immediate and paralyzing challenges. The vast majority of modern vehicles, from sedans to transport trucks, rely on complex electronic systems. The 2008 EMP Commission report to Congress estimated that an EMP event could disable a significant percentage of the millions of cars on U.S. roads, leaving them inert steel husks. This would not only strand individuals, but also instantly halt the supply chains that deliver food, medicine, and fuel. The roads would become impassable parking lots, and mobility would be reduced to the speed of walking. In this scenario, the simple, mechanically driven bicycle emerges as an unparalleled tool for transportation, scouting, and personal freedom. The bicycle's strength lies in its elegant simplicity. It requires no electricity, no gasoline, and no complex computer system. Its operation is entirely mechanical, powered by human energy. This makes it immune to the effects of an EMP. While others are trapped in their immediate vicinity, a person on a bicycle can cover significant distances with relative ease and speed. Consider the practical applications. You could check on family members across town, travel to a pre-arranged bug-out location, or scout for resources like water and food. A bike allows you to navigate clogged roadways, slipping past abandoned vehicles and through narrow paths where a car could never go. Its silence is also a tactical advantage, enabling quiet movement in a world where drawing attention to yourself could be dangerous. To be truly prepared, your bicycle must be more than a recreational toy stored in the back of the garage. It needs to be a reliable vehicle ready for demanding conditions. This means regular maintenance, ensuring the tires are properly inflated, the chain is lubricated, and the brakes are functional. A preparedness-focused bike setup should also include essential accessories. A sturdy rear rack and panniers, saddlebags, are crucial for carrying supplies like a medical kit, food, water, and tools. A basic tire repair kit, including a patch kit, spare inner tubes, and a portable hand pump, is non-negotiable. A flat tire could leave you stranded. Furthermore, think about durability. A mountain bike or a hybrid with robust tires is far better suited for navigating debris-strewn streets and potentially rough terrain than a thin-wheeled road bike. Having a small collection of spare parts, chains, brake pads, and cables could keep your bike running for years. In a world where a 20-mile journey becomes an all-day trek on foot, a well-maintained bicycle is the key to efficient, independent, and resilient mobility. Wood-burning stove or fire pit, the heart of the home. When the power grid collapses, the comforts of modern life disappear with it. Central heating, electric stoves, and hot water heaters all go silent. For a significant portion of the population, this loss is not just an inconvenience, it is a direct threat to their well-being. The U.S. Energy Information Administration notes that a large percentage of American homes rely on electricity for heating. An EMP during colder months could lead to a widespread hypothermia crisis. This is where the ancient technology of fire, harnessed through a wood-burning stove or a simple fire pit, becomes a central pillar of survival. It provides warmth, the ability to cook food, and a means to purify water, addressing three of the most fundamental human needs without relying on any external infrastructure. A wood-burning stove, installed professionally in a home, is the gold standard for off-grid heating. It is a self-contained, efficient system that can keep a house warm even in freezing temperatures. More than just a heat source, its flat-top surface serves as a reliable cooktop. You can boil water, heat canned goods, and cook full meals, turning what would be a cold and demoralizing experience into a manageable situation. The psychological benefit of a warm home and a hot meal cannot be overstated in a high-stress survival scenario. For those without the means or space to install a full stove, a well-constructed outdoor fire pit offers many of the same benefits. It can be built with stones, bricks, or a simple metal ring. This outdoor hearth becomes a communal hub for cooking, boiling water for sanitation, and providing warmth. The fuel for these systems, wood, is a renewable and often readily available resource, especially outside of dense urban centers. Fallen branches, dead trees, and scrap lumber can all be used. This requires having the right tools on hand, tying back to the importance of manual saws and axes for processing firewood into usable logs. Storing a seasoned supply of wood beforehand is a crucial preparatory step, ensuring you have dry fuel ready to burn when the disaster strikes. FEMA consistently includes alternative heating and cooking methods in its emergency preparedness guidelines, warning of the dangers of extreme cold during prolonged outages. A fire not only keeps you warm, but also allows you to make stored foods like rice, beans, and pasta edible, dramatically expanding your food supply beyond cold canned goods. It's a primal technology that has sustained humanity for millennia, and in the wake of an EMP, it will prove its timeless value once again, becoming the new heart of the home. 5. Crank or battery-powered radio, your connection to a silent world. In the disorienting chaos following an EMP, information will be one of the most precious and scarce commodities. The instantaneous failure of the internet, television, and cellular networks will create an information vacuum. Is the event local or global? Was it an attack or a natural phenomenon? Are rescue efforts underway? Without a reliable source of information, fear and rumor will spread faster than any fire. This is why a simple crank-powered or battery-operated radio is not just a useful gadget, but an essential instrument of survival. It is your one potential link to the outside world, a lifeline that could deliver critical instructions, news, and a sense of what is happening beyond your immediate surrounding. The federal government, through agencies like FEMA and NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, maintains a network of emergency broadcast stations designed to operate under disaster conditions. The NOAA Weather Radio All Hazards Network, for instance, broadcasts 24/7 and is intended to provide information on everything from weather events to civil emergencies and national security threats. While an EMP could damage many broadcast towers, some are hardened and mobile transmitters could be deployed. A simple AM/FM radio is all that is needed to pick up these signals. A crank-powered radio is the ideal choice because it doesn't rely on a finite supply of battery. A few minutes of cranking can provide an hour or more of listening time, ensuring you can stay informed indefinitely. The value of this information cannot be overstated. A radio broadcast could warn you of a nearby chemical spill, provide instructions on where to find safe drinking water, or announce the location of emergency shelters and food distribution points. It could inform you about the status of a potential military response or give guidance on security threats in your area. This knowledge allows you to make informed decisions for your family's safety. During widespread power outages caused by hurricanes, local radio stations have often become the primary source of vital, life-saving information for affected communities. An EMP scenario would be a far more extreme version of this. Many modern emergency radios come equipped with additional features that enhance their utility, such as a built-in flashlight, a solar panel for passive charging, and even a USB port capable of providing a trickle charge to other small devices, assuming they survived in a Faraday cage. In a world plunged into silence, the faint crackle of a voice over a small radio could be the most important sound you will ever hear. 6 candles, oil lamps, and lanterns. Your light in the darkness. When the power grid collapses, the absence of light becomes more than just an inconvenience. It becomes a psychological battleground. The human brain is wired to associate darkness with danger, and prolonged exposure to complete blackout conditions can trigger anxiety, disorientation, and panic. This is why having reliable, non-electric light sources is crucial for both practical and mental survival. While modern households have become dependent on LED bulbs and battery-powered flashlights, these solutions fail when an EMP renders all electronics useless. The ancient technologies of candles, oil lamps, and manual lanterns suddenly become invaluable assets, providing not just illumination, but psychological stability in an increasingly unstable world. The science behind why light matters goes beyond simple visibility. According to research published by the National Institute of Mental Health, prolonged darkness disrupts circadian rhythms, leading to depression, confusion, and impaired decision-making. During Hurricane Sandy in 2012, mental health crisis calls increased by over 40% in areas that experienced extended blackouts. The simple presence of warm, flickering light can maintain a sense of normalcy and control when everything else has fallen apart. Unlike battery-powered alternatives, candles and oil lamps are completely immune to electromagnetic pulses. They contain no circuits, no microchips, and no electronic components that can be damaged. A quality beeswax candle or kerosene lamp will function exactly the same after an EMP as it did before, making them utterly reliable when reliability matters most. The variety of non-electric lighting options available allows for strategic planning. Emergency candles designed for extended burn times can provide light for 50 to 100 hours from a single unit. These aren't decorative candles, they're industrial-grade survival tools built to burn slowly and steadily. Oil lamps, particularly those using kerosene or lamp oil, offer adjustable brightness and can burn for 8 to 12 hours on a single tank. Hurricane lanterns, with their protective glass chimneys, can withstand wind and rain, making them suitable for both indoor and outdoor use. The fuel for these devices, wax, kerosene, and lamp oil, stores indefinitely when properly sealed, ensuring your light source remains viable years after purchase. Strategic deployment of non-electric lighting requires careful consideration of both safety and security. Light can be a beacon of hope for your family, but it can also advertise your preparedness to desperate neighbors. The key is controlled illumination, using blackout curtains to contain light within your home, positioning lanterns away from windows, and avoiding bright lights that can be seen from outside. Additionally, fire safety becomes paramount when using open flame. Keep fire extinguishers nearby, ensure proper ventilation for oil lamps to prevent carbon monoxide buildup, and never leave candles or lanterns unattended. With proper planning and safety measures, these simple light sources become powerful tools for maintaining sanity, security, and functionality in a world plunged into darkness. 7. Manual water pump or gravity filter. Securing life's most essential resource. Water scarcity following an EMP event is not just possible, it's inevitable. The complex network of pumps, filtration systems, and monitoring equipment that delivers clean water to American homes depends entirely on electricity. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, over 90% of municipal water systems rely on electric pumps to move water from treatment facilities to consumers. When an EMP disables these systems, taps run dry within hours, leaving millions without access to safe drinking water. Unlike food, which you can survive without for weeks, the human body begins shutting down after just 3 days without water. This makes securing a reliable, non-electric water source one of the most critical aspects of EMP preparedness. The challenge extends beyond simply finding water. It's about finding safe water. Natural sources like rivers, lakes, and even rainwater can contain deadly pathogens, chemical pollutants, and heavy metals. During the 2014 West Virginia chemical spill, 300,000 residents lost access to clean water overnight, leading to widespread illness from contaminated supplies. In an EMP scenario, with treatment plants offline and monitoring systems down, water quality becomes a life-or-death gamble. This is where manual water purification systems become invaluable survival tools. Gravity-fed water filters, such as ceramic or carbon-based systems, use no electricity yet can remove 99.999% of bacteria, viruses, and many chemical contaminants. These systems work on simple physics. Pour dirty water into the top reservoir, and gravity pulls it through multiple filtration layers, delivering clean water to a bottom container. For households with private wells, the situation is both better and worse. Better because you have a dedicated water source, independent of municipal systems. Worse because most private wells rely on electric pumps located deep underground. This is where a manual well pump becomes a game-changing investment. Hand-operated deep well pumps can extract water from depths of 200 feet or more using nothing but human power and mechanical advantage. These systems, commonly used in developing countries and remote locations, are surprisingly efficient. A quality hand pump can produce several gallons per minute with moderate effort, providing enough water for drinking, cooking, and basic sanitation needs. The installation requires professional expertise, but once in place, a manual well pump provides decades of reliable service with minimal maintenance. Water storage is equally important as water purification. Emergency management experts recommend storing at least 1 gallon per person per day for a minimum of 2 weeks, but longer-term EMP scenarios may require much more. The storage containers themselves should be food-grade plastic or glass, treated with water purification tablets to prevent bacterial growth, and rotated regularly to maintain freshness. Additionally, having multiple purification methods creates redundancy, gravity filters as the primary system, water purification tablets as backup, and boiling capabilities as a final option. In a world where clean water becomes more valuable than gold, these simple, non-electric systems transform from convenient tools into essential lifelines. 8. Mechanical locks and safes. Physical security in a lawless world. When civilization's veneer begins to crack, physical security becomes paramount. The breakdown of law enforcement, emergency services, and social order following an EMP creates a security vacuum that desperate people will exploit. Electronic security systems, smart locks, keypad safes, digital alarm systems become useless chunks of metal and plastic. Yet this is precisely when you most need to secure your home, protect your supplies, and safeguard your family. The solution lies in returning to mechanical security devices that function independently of electricity. Traditional key locks, combination dial safes, and manual deadbolts that provide reliable protection when high-tech alternatives fail. The vulnerability of electronic security systems in an EMP scenario cannot be overstated. Modern homes are filled with smart locks that connect to Wi-Fi, fingerprint scanners that store digital templates, and keypad systems that rely on circuit boards. These devices may seem more convenient and secure than traditional alternatives, but they share a fatal flaw: complete dependence on electrical power. When an EMP disables their internal electronics, these sophisticated security measures become worthless. Even battery-powered systems are vulnerable, as the electromagnetic pulse can damage their internal circuits regardless of power source. In contrast, a quality mechanical lock contains no electronics whatsoever, just precision-engineered metal components that operate through physical manipulation, making them completely immune to electromagnetic interference. The importance of physical security in post-disaster scenarios is well documented. Following Hurricane Katrina, property crimes increased dramatically in affected areas, with looting and break-ins becoming common occurrence. The 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Japan saw similar patterns, despite the country's generally low crime rate. These disasters, while devastating, were localized events with outside help eventually arriving. An EMP event would be different, potentially affecting entire regions or nations simultaneously, with no cavalry coming over the hill. In such circumstances, your home becomes your fortress, and your ability to secure it may determine your family's survival. Mechanical safes and locks require careful selection and proper installation. A quality gun safe with a mechanical combination lock ensures access to defensive tools when you need them most. Document storage in fire-resistant, mechanically secured containers protects important papers like identification, property deeds, and insurance policies. Even simple padlocks become valuable for securing outbuildings, storage containers, and gates. The key is redundancy, multiple layers of mechanical security that don't rely on electricity, batteries, or wireless connectivity. While these systems may lack the flashy features of modern electronic alternatives, they offer something far more valuable: reliability when everything else fails. In a world where a sturdy deadbolt might be the only thing standing between your family and chaos, simplicity becomes the ultimate sophistication. 9. Solar flashlights and solar chargers. Harnessing the sun's eternal power. Solar technology represents a fascinating paradox in EMP preparedness. On one hand, solar panels and associated electronics are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses, just like any other electronic device. On the other hand, properly protected solar equipment can provide renewable energy when all other power sources have failed permanently. The key lies in understanding which solar devices can be effectively shielded and how to deploy them strategically in a post-EMP environment. Simple solar flashlights, basic solar chargers, and manual crank devices with solar backup capabilities can become invaluable assets, but only if they're protected before the pulse hits and used wisely afterward. The protection of solar devices requires the same Faraday cage principles discussed earlier, but with additional considerations for their unique components. Solar panels themselves are relatively robust. They contain photovoltaic cells that convert sunlight directly to electricity through a physical process that doesn't rely on vulnerable microchips. However, the charge controllers, inverters, and battery management systems found in most solar devices do contain sensitive electronics. This means that while a solar panel might survive an EMP, the associated control circuits probably won't. The solution is to focus on the simplest possible solar devices, those with minimal electronic components, and store them in proper EMP protection until needed. Solar flashlights designed for emergency use often feature basic circuitry that can be adequately protected in homemade Faraday cages. These devices typically include small solar panels, LED lights, and simple battery systems. When protected from EMP damage, they provide renewable lighting that requires no fuel, no manual charging, and minimal maintenance. Similarly, basic solar chargers capable of powering small devices like radios or phones, if they survived, offer energy independence in a grid-down world. The latest generation of portable solar panels can produce surprising amounts of power, enough to keep essential electronics running indefinitely as long as the sun continues to rise. The strategic deployment of solar technology post-EMP requires careful consideration of both capability and security. While having renewable power is advantageous, advertising that capability can be dangerous. A home with functioning lights in a blacked-out neighborhood attracts attention, potentially unwanted attention from desperate individuals or groups. The wise approach involves covert deployment, using solar power for essential functions while maintaining the external appearance of a powerless home. Internal lighting blocked by blackout curtains, quiet charging of communications equipment, and minimal external signs of electrical activity help maintain operational security while providing crucial capability. Additionally, having backup solar equipment stored separately ensures that even if one cache is discovered or damaged, other systems remain available for long-term survival. 10. Non-electronic vehicles. Mobility when modern transportation dies. The paralysis of transportation following an EMP cannot be overstated. Modern vehicles are essentially computers on wheels, packed with dozens of microprocessors controlling everything from fuel injection to brake systems. The 2008 EMP Commission found that most vehicles manufactured after the early 1980s contain vulnerable electronic components that would likely fail in a significant electromagnetic pulse event. This means that the vast majority of cars, trucks, and motorcycles currently on American roads would become inoperative, creating an instant transportation crisis of unprecedented scale. In this scenario, older vehicles with minimal or no electronic components transform from nostalgic relics into priceless survival assets. The distinction between vulnerable and resilient vehicles lies in their control systems. Pre-1980 vehicles typically use mechanical fuel systems, points-based ignition, and manual transmissions, all systems that operate without computer control. A 1970s pickup truck with a carburetor, mechanical fuel pump, and contact point ignition system contains no vulnerable microchips. The engine timing is controlled by mechanical weights and springs, fuel flow by physical jets and floats, and ignition by simple electrical contacts. While the electromagnetic pulse might damage the radio and possibly the alternator, the core systems needed for transportation remain functional. These vehicles can literally be push-started and driven indefinitely as long as mechanical components remain intact and fuel is available. The practical implications of transportation disruption extend far beyond personal mobility. Supply chains depend entirely on truck transportation, and when those trucks stop running, food delivery ceases, medical supplies don't reach hospitals, and fuel doesn't reach gas stations. The 2021 Colonial Pipeline cyber attack provided a glimpse of this reality, causing widespread fuel shortages and panic buying across the southeastern United States. An EMP event would create similar disruptions on a national scale, but with no quick resolution possible. Having access to working transportation provides options that most people won't have: the ability to leave dangerous areas, reach safety or resources, and maintain contact with distant family members or allies. Preparation for transportation security involves more than just owning an older vehicle. Spare parts become critical when replacement components are no longer manufactured or distributed. Points, condensers, fuel pumps, and belts should be stockpiled along with basic repair tools. Fuel storage requires careful planning. Gasoline degrades over time, but fuel stabilizers can extend storage life significantly. Diesel fuel stores longer than gasoline and can sometimes be supplemented with alternative fuels in emergency situations. Additionally, motorcycles and dirt bikes from the pre-electronic era offer advantages in fuel efficiency and maneuverability that larger vehicles cannot match. A simple, carbureted motorcycle can navigate around abandoned vehicles, travel on paths impassable to cars, and operate on minimal fuel consumption. In a post-EMP world where mobility equals survival, these mechanical marvels become more valuable than luxury cars ever were. The ultimate lesson of EMP-resistant transportation is the value of simplicity over sophistication. While modern vehicles offer comfort, efficiency, and convenience, they achieve these benefits through complexity that becomes a liability in extreme scenarios. The rattling old truck with roll-up windows and a manual transmission might seem primitive compared to a modern SUV with GPS navigation and climate control. But when the pulse hits, only one of them will still be running. This principle extends beyond vehicles to all aspects of survival preparation. The most sophisticated solution is often the most vulnerable, while simple mechanical alternatives provide reliability when it matters.